Most people live their lives in fits and starts. New resolutions, new goals, right? New diet programs going. They get the water above the surface and then they let go of the handle and it goes all the way back down. They get fat again, the relationship gets off the rails, their success momentum dies, and so forth. Now, behavior repeated become habits, okay? So if we are rewiring the operating system to install the compound effect in your life, to jumpstart your income, success, and life, it first starts with choices and then behavior, acting on those choices. And this third line of code is repeating that action over an extended period of time. Now, habits is just a neurosignature in our brain. We come in with no habits whatsoever. We come in naked, scared, and ignorant. We have no habits. We learn habits, which means what? We can unlearn them as well. The more you repeat a behavior, the deeper that brain groove or neurosignature becomes in your mind. Like the Spanish proverb that goes, habits start out like cobwebs and then they become thick as cables. And when you try to break your existing poor habits, I have to warn you, it will be as difficult as trying to break the habit of substance abuse because it is ingrained into your neurosignature. It is ingrained into your brain. The path of the path of no resistance is on those previous pathways. It's kind of like this. If you jumped in a river that was running in one direction, you could just jump in with no effort and be carried down the river. No effort. That's what's happening in your day-to-day efforts with your habits. You jump into your habits and it carries you without even thinking about it. You're not even conscious about the behaviors that you are acting when in your habits. But if you're going to change those habits, here's what has to happen. You have to turn around on this rushing river and start swimming upstream. And it's going to take everything you've got to swim with all your might. It's not going to be easy because you're going to be fighting those previous habit patterns. And you might be swimming with everything you've got, only making inches of progress. So just understand that it will be difficult as you start to weaken those previous neurosignatures by not doing those bad habits and then embedding the new behaviors that you want to do and making those the good habits that then can be done without conscious thought at all. But if you will sustain that effort over an extended period of time, I'm telling you the lifestyle that you could provide for your family, for your grandkids, for your legacy is so worth it. But just understand the effort that will be involved. You see, it'll take about 300 repetitions to build a new habit that you didn't have before. And it'll take about 300 times that you wanted to do the other previous habit and not doing it to weaken that neurosignature. So if you can sustain yourself through that period of transition, I promise you, the light at the end of the tunnel is magnificent. So what's the last line of code in the operating system to ignite the compound effect in your life? Well, it all just comes down to time. Repeating that habit of those behaviors ignited by those choices over an extended period of time so that the compound effect, the magic of the compound effect can work its way in your life. But I have to give you a final warning here, okay? This is the biggest pitfall for why people fall, even with the best of intentions, with the best of talent, ability, and skill. Here's why good people still fail. Imagine you have a pump well out in the back, okay? This is one of the more important principles that I could get cemented into your brain for you to think about as you go into your life from this moment forward. And let's say you want to lose 20 pounds, all right? You got to start a new fitness regimen. And you know that a pump well has a pipe that goes down to the water table below the ground. And if you want to get the water from underneath the ground, you take the lever of the pump and you pump it. And what it does, it creates a vacuum. And if you pump it long enough, you try to get the water to come up the pipe and then out the spout. So let's say you start this new fitness program and you go up to the pump well and you're all excited. You got your new Nikes on, right? You got your new outfit, you sign up for the gym, you're all excited, you got your trainer, what have you, and you go and you pump on the well, you pump, you keep pumping and you go, there's no water. You see, you're 2 weeks into your fitness program, you get on the scale and you've not lost a single pound. And you've got all these sweaty clothes and you've been at it, consistently for 2 weeks and you're not a Calvin Klein underwear model or a Victoria's Secret model yet. Here's what you need to do. Just keep pumping, keep pumping, keep pumping, even with no evidence of results. You will not have evidence of results for an extended period of time. But if you keep pumping, maybe 6, 8 weeks down the line, you get on a scale and you're like, 2 pounds, all this effort, all the times I said no to my friends going out for extra cocktails, going to the gym instead, and I've lost 2 pounds. This isn't worth it. Just a couple of drops out of the pump well. Here's what I'm asking you to do. With no evidence that this is going to work out, just keep pumping the well. Just keep pumping the well. Keep pumping the well. And maybe 2, 3 months down the line, you get up on the scale and eureka. Now, you've had success before, okay? You've been here before in your life many times. You've lost weight. You've had a success in your business. You got your relationship back on track. You've been to this point on the pump well before. Here's the biggest tip that I can give you. Now, you don't even have to pump as hard. You literally can back off and just keep a steady stroke on it. Just keep a steady stroke and the water will still to gush with full flow. Just keep a steady flow on it. But here's what people do. They go on vacation, they get busy at work, they have drama at home, and they let go of the pump handle. And the water goes all the way back down underneath the ground. And then when they come back from vacation, they try to put that steady stroke on it, and there's no water. There's no water. In order to just get back to where they were, they got to pump it really hard, really hard, really hard, really hard for those 2 to 3 months all over again just to get back to where they were. You see, this is one of the biggest keys to success that I can give you. The key is not getting in shape. The key is staying in shape. The key is not doing a prospecting campaign or doing a date night this Friday. It is the consistency of that effort over an extended period of time. Because if you stop it, you lose all momentum and it goes right back down to the floor. You see, most people live their lives in fits and starts. New resolutions, new goals, right? New diet programs, new campaigns for this or that. And they get it going, they get the water above the surface, and then they let go of the handle and it goes all the way back down. They get fat again, the relationship gets off the rails, their success momentum dies, and so forth. This is one of the greatest keys to my success. Look, I wasn't born with any unique talent, any unique skill. I got 1 semester of college. If you're going to ask me what is one deciding factor that determined the extraordinary success that I've experienced, it's this one right here. My ability to stay consistent, to not let drift sink in. You see, it's not how fast you start. As you leave this, everybody's going to be excited. Everybody's going to be motivated all over again. And everybody's going to start their new, exciting, ambitious goals and campaigns. It's not how fast you start, it's how long you last. Do you finish? This is the reason why the turtle always beats the hare. The hare could be more experienced, be more skilled, be better looking, have more connections, but the tortoise always beats the hare. Why? Because consistency wins every single time. And then sustained consistency creates big mo, right? It's like a big iron horse, that it takes a tremendous amount of energy just to get it off a dead stop. And then once it's in momentum, you can back off stoking the fire and it will rush at full speed. And at that point, you could put a concrete brick wall in front of it and it will blow through it like it was crepe paper. You've seen people who get this momentum in their life and it looks like they're an overnight success story. What happened was it was the stoking of that consistency, those small choices over time. And then all of a sudden, they got their life in momentum, and there you saw the effects, the outcomes of the compound effect. That's what I want for you and want for your life as well. So the last thing I'm going to ask of you here, okay, with our time together, because you've heard motivational, personal development talks before. And you've made new resolutions, you've made new goals before, and you've fallen off them. You've drifted off them. But I want you to draw a line in the sand. That this time, when you get up from wherever you're sitting right now and you step over that line, you are never going back. You are never going back to how you used to behave. You are never going back to the mindset and mentality that you had before. I want you to step over the line. And when you do, you're going to be faced with your new mountain in life. That goal, that ambition that you've got. Get to the top, provide this fantastic lifestyle for my family, send my grandkids to the greatest universities in the world. Whatever you want is at the top of that mountain. And here's what's going to happen. You're going to start climbing that mountain, and friends and family are going to be like, what? What are you doing that thing for? You got a job. You're lucky to have a job in this economy. Get off that mountain. You're going to get hurt, right? And you're going to have to look them in the eye and say, you see this mountain? This is my mountain. I'm going to the top. And you're going to climb up a little bit further. And you're going to start experiencing just a little bit of success, but still friends are going to come out of the woodwork and be like, I've heard about those things before. That mountain pyramid thing, yeah, you got to get off that thing. I've heard people fall off that thing. They've lost their finances. They lost their family. What are you doing climbing mountains? You can't climb mountains. Get off that thing. I'm here to help you. I'm here to protect you. And you're going to have to look them all in the eye and say, you see this mountain? This is my mountain. And I'm going to the top. And then you're going to get high on the mountain, but you still have the distance to summit. And then the biggest, nastiest voices start showing up. And it's the voices inside your head. And they say, who are you to think that you could climb this mountain? From where you came from, you got no background. You got no experience, right? From your childhood, what makes you think you can do this? And you're going to have to look all those voices in the eye and say, you see this mountain? This is my mountain. I'm going to the top. You're going to either see me waving from the top or laying dead on the side. I am not coming back. And when you have that sense of resolve, that nothing but nothing and no one will stop you, I promise you that's the only thing left that you need to experience all the success that you ever desire. Because right now, you're only living up to a fraction of your capability. What you are capable of is so far greater than your current results indicate. But if you just ignite the principles of the compound effect, stay consistent, and look all the naysayers in the eyes and say, this is my mountain. I'm not coming back. Then I can't wait to see you waving from the top. And I'll be here with you all along the way to help you any way that I can. I believe in you. You can do this. Thank you again for having me. It's truly been an honor. I can't wait to see the stories that come out of our time together. Thank you again.
So Darren, it has been a pleasure to have you here. So many lessons to apply. And obviously we are full of questions. So if you want me to begin with, the first question would be, Darren, what motivated you at the beginning of your career and what kept you going forward when the early obstacles you surely face?
Yeah, so, I guess three things if I were to go back and talk to young Darren and provide some advice, what would it be? And I think, first off, I'd explain three things I think I would explain. Number one is that it's not going to be talent. It's not going to be intelligence. It's not going to be your background. It's not going to be your family, education, or connections that are going to determine your success or not. Because see, when I grew up, I thought that was going to be my limiting factor. I thought you had to come from the right family, that you had to have innate talent, that you had to be really smart, none of which I was, right? That you had to have the right connections, that you had to go to the right university. And I thought because I didn't have any of those things that my success was going to be limited. But what I realize now, and what I wish I realized even younger, is that none of that matters. So that if just with hard work, with consistency, with seeking out advisors and mentors and the right materials, you can get any advantage that you want in any industry. And that has been the boon of my career. The second thing on that is to invest in personal development even more aggressively than I did. Luckily, I did meet a mentor when I was 18 years old who advised that I take 10% of every dollar I make from that point forward and reinvest it in my personal development. And he asked me what my goal was for the next year. And I was 18 years old. And I said, I want to make over $100,000 a year. Just thinking that was crazy, right? 18-year-old making $100,000 a year. And he says, well, then you better go invest $10,000 in your personal development. He says, you don't achieve goals, you grow into them. And so I did, even though I didn't even have the $10,000 to start with. I went and found it, scrapped and scrimped and put it together. And I'm telling you, that catapulted my success. By the first year, I made $150,000 a year. And so then I thought, wow, this works. So then I wanted to make $250,000 the next year. So I took $25,000, which would be 10% of $250,000, and I invested it in my personal development. And I exceeded that goal. And I'm 50 years old now, and I've done that every year over year. And I'm just flabbergasted at how that has catapulted my life. A kid born into a very dysfunctional upbringing and family, one semester of college, no unique intelligence or talent to speak of. But because of my investment in personal development and the skill, growth, and development that caused and created, that's what catapulted me to the place that I am to this day. And then the third thing is a little bit of an odd one, but is really the one answer I give when everybody says, if there's advice that you would give your 20-year-old self, what would it be? And this is the one, and that is to listen to my gut more. Every bad decision that I made, I knew at the time, if I listened to my gut, that it probably wasn't the right thing to do. But I was tantalized with the fear of loss, or with the idea that there was a quick hit, a big opportunity, and I knew that I shouldn't, and I did anyway. So I would listen to my gut more. So those would be a few things that I think I'd go back and tell my younger self to even accelerate the success that I've had to this point. And I hope that maybe some of those points are taken in by your audience as well, and they could advance themselves and not have to make some of the same mistakes that I made, and it'll get them to their destination a little quicker.
Sure. Awesome, Darren. I like the last one. I mean, I'm convinced that everything you do, you have your own answer. So awesome. Thank you very much, Darren. The second question I have right now is, Darren, you have experienced many changes. And obviously last year has been many changes in the business environment. And as we all know, we are currently facing a big one. How is it possible to stay current despite that changes? What would be the constant for continuing success in the challenging times, such as ours, especially to network marketing? That's our second question.
Yeah, so I'll give you the answer. I was on a panel discussion in the publishing industry, and they were asking all the people that were in publishing, we've had so many radical changes due to technology and the economy and real-time press and ebooks versus print books and all the rest of that. And they were going down the line asking, how has change affected the industry from your vantage point? And everybody went before me, and I was the last one. And I said, the real answer is that more has not changed than has changed. And what you need to do is to focus on what's the same. You see, no matter in the publishing industry, let's use that, and then we'll bring it to network marketing. Human beings are the same. We have the same ambitions. We have the same desires. We have the same wanting for our family, wanting for our better future. We have the same fears, worries, and anxieties that we've always had. And it doesn't matter whether you're communicating and touching the heart and touching the mind electronically or in print or on television or on a social media platform. On the other side of that medium is the same human being that has not changed. Same thing is true with network marketing. It doesn't matter the technology innovations. It doesn't matter how the economy, all of those factors. On the other end of the conversations, on the other end of your invitations, are human beings who have the same aspirations, desires, and hopes, and the same worries, fears, and anxieties. And if you focus on what hasn't changed, which is connecting heart to heart with other people and finding a way to help them, what is it that they desire most? And all you have to do is go out and touch people's heart, touch their mind, share a product that might help them become healthier, share an opportunity that might help them realize the financial desires and ambitions that they've got. That's all you got to do, is to tell a good story, to share a message. That's the same. And I don't care whether you share that message on WhatsApp or Facebook or Instagram or face-to-face, you invite them to a meeting, you invite them to Zoom, it doesn't matter, because the human being is the same. And if you talk to them as a human being and not as some sort of a communication channel or some sort of a transaction, then I think you're still going to be successful. Just remember that people follow people. Okay, they trust recommendations by people that they have trusted relationships with, and so that's number one. That's hasn't changed. Number two is that leadership is now more important than ever, because no matter how AI or big data or how robots transform our world, people still need to be led by people. They can't be led by big data or AI. And so leadership, people leading people, will always be an essential non-changing factor, and it'll become more important because to implement and execute the AI in the big data and the robots require it being managed by people, and people need to be led by people. So if there's ever a time for your industry to be relevant, the industry of network marketing, which is sharing a good story, a good idea, a good product, a good opportunity with people, by people, and then seeking the leadership that is necessary to help them grow in this process of building their business by people. It is now more than ever. And the third thing I think that is a constant is that when you grow, everything in your life grows with you. When you grow your good habits, when you grow your positive mindset, when you grow your success, everything in your life, your relationship with your kids, your relationship with your spouse, with your friends, your health, your status in the neighborhood and the community, all that grows with you. So the growth of your person is a constant. So if I would focus on those three things: number one, personal recommendations of something worthy; number two, leadership; and number three, when you grow, everything in your life grows with you.
Definitely, Darren. Thank you very much. Very clear. And we have the third question, which is kind of related what you already talked. And how can we emphasize to the audience right now that are listening to us that the network marketing is much more simple that the product you offer, but it's more important the vision you transmit. Could you tell us, Darren, a little bit more about that vision that is so important in this business?
Yeah, understand this, that people don't buy products. They buy people. It's about the human relationship. People buy people. So what's the best thing that you could do for your business is to grow you, is to be the best possible example that you can be. Instead of trying to sell the science of products, be the product. When people say, how does it work? Say, I don't know. I just know that it works. I lost 10 pounds. I lost 15 pounds. I wake up energized. I sleep through the night. All these conditions that I had before are much improved. I feel great. I've got more energy than I've ever had before. Be the product instead of trying to sell the product. And so when it comes to casting a vision, it's really just when you work on you, when you become the best example possible, people will beat a path to your door. They'll say, what are you doing? How have you lost so much weight? Why do you always seem to have so much energy? Why is it that even when everybody around you and everything around you is negative, you come in with such a positive spirit? Because they'll want whatever it is that you have, whatever is the source code of what it is that they're in witness of. So the best vision that you can articulate is the one by your example, right? It's not how you move your mouth, it's how you move your feet, by leading by example. So the best thing I think you could do for your business is to grow you, grow the product of you, because the better you are, the more people will buy that product, because they don't buy nutritional supplements. They buy outcomes that they see other people have experienced. So that's what I would say when it comes to, being the product and leading by example. And people will beat a path to your door. I promise you. Birds of a feather flock together. We see the people around us and we mimic ourselves after them. We want what they have. And so the best way to go around being a a spokesperson is to be the best example of what the products produce.
Definitely, Darren, in being the product of the product, that's the key. And we have the last question. I'm so sorry it's the last question, but
yeah,
we have a limited time here. So Darren, many people believe that inspiration comes to us suddenly from external sources. However, inspiration must always come with ourselves. What tips can you share with us about inspiration?
Well, I am so glad that you asked me. Absolutely. Your mind is an open vessel, and it'll take in whatever it is that you pour into it or whatever it is that you expose it to. So there are two important influences that will end up dictating the trajectory of your life. And it is the information that you expose your mind to. If you expose it to sensational news media, to lewd and crude, to sarcasm, to cynicism, to outrage culture, what have you, to all the inane stuff that happens on Twitter and Facebook and the rest of that, that will end up being what dictates your mindset and thus your behavior and ultimately your results. And so you want to be super protective of what it is that you allow your mind to be witness to and to absorb, which is the reason why I created what is called DARREN Daily. I don't know if your audience knows about DARREN Daily, but every morning I package up one big idea, one tip to ignite your mind to go out into the world of your day, looking for what's possible, what's hopeful, what's aspirational, instead of bombarding your brain with the news of what's negative and what's horrible and what's not possible. So that you take that open vessel each morning and pour into it the clean, clear water of hope and possibility. And you will then, throughout your day, find it. You will see it because your mind will then be seeking it versus seeking what's terrible, what's bad, and what's awful. So the first uber important influence is information. The second one is associations. And those are the people you choose to hang around, whether they be the peer circle that you've got, extended family, what have you. So the more that you can continue to associate with each other, with these people who have this expanded mindset about taking what everybody else is seeing as tragic and negative and seeing as hopeful and positive, man, I'm telling you that the influence of those associations will take you the distance. So find that source of information on an ongoing and daily basis. That's why we deliver DARREN Daily. If you haven't subscribed, it's free. Okay, it's free. It's a public service. I did it as a in celebration of the mentorship that I got from Jim Rohn for 20 years on his birthday. I started it, but that was 5 or 6 years ago. It's become such an important vehicle for 350,000 people around the world that I continue to produce it every single day. But it's just a source of positive focus for you to go throughout your day. We also have DARREN Daily on Demand, which is a podcast so that you can listen to it on the go. But find your source of input that's going to give you that positive flush of that inspiration that you are looking for. And then be sure that you protect your associations, because you will, as my mentor said, become the combined average of the 5 people you hang around the most. So pick those people carefully.
Well, Darren, I'm so thankful to share with you this Q&A. We have right now a new tool, DARREN Daily. So thank you very much to share with us all your thoughts. And it has been really a pleasure for us to have you here. Hopefully, we can have you back in the future. So
That's
maybe
wonderful.
one last comment, maybe one last thing that you want to share with our audience.
Yeah, no, just thank you very much for making me part of your special celebration. Javier, this has been a delight to be on with you. I wish you nothing but fantastic success. And I can't wait to hear the stories. So please keep in touch with us about what comes out of our time here together and how you apply these into your life and the results. So thank you again for having me.